Hello and welcome to the fifth mini course of the Autorock channel. So today we are going to be discussing some topics related to organisms and living systems and systems in general. I think this is very interesting, following the previous four mini courses. By the way, the playlist is available on my channel if you want to check them out. Today what we are going to be discussing is the topic of the concept of autopoiesis. We are going to be talking a little bit about the concept of agency from a biological perspective, hyperobjects. We are going to be talking also about communication and emergence. So we have analyzed culture, we have analyzed cultural intelligence, cultural worldviews. We have analyzed how our species basically interacts from a sociological, a sociocultural and linguistic perspective. That's more or less the analysis that has been provided during the entire series. Now I want to talk a little bit about these concepts that are more related to biology, because we need to understand that we are first of all living entities, and as living entities we have this capacity for autonomy, for choosing what goes in, what goes out, and how we differentiate ourselves. And this is directly related to the concept of autopoiesis. So when we see, for example, a cell, it is capable of interacting with its environment and choosing what goes inside its system, and within its system there are rules and there are behaviors and there are processes that integrate the external material in its own components. So it is self-creation, it is self-preservation and self-regulation. This is what autopoiesis does in living systems. And when we talk about languages and cultures, we see that it is more or less the same. Languages and cultures follow a certain set of rules and a certain set of processes that define them and that they differentiate them. So this is why we need to understand the concept of autopoiesis in order to see how it reflects languages and cultures. So we talk about again to make a quick recap: self-creation, self-preservation, and self-organization in living systems and languages and cultures as well. I would like to talk also about, now that we are talking about cells, about the very foundation of our organisms, we can talk, of course, about agency. It's a concept that I frequently use, that I frequently refer to, because it is the key for many things. So agency starts, in terms of living systems, it starts within ourselves, and it goes up in increasingly complex processes and interactions. But first, we have to understand the notion of bioelectrical networks. Well, it is very complex. We're not going to dig very deep into that, but it is basically the way cells communicate with each other in order to perform tasks and solve problems. It's like they talk to each other like we talk. Like we speak in English, French, and Spanish. They do the same within bioelectrical networks, and they do this to create your organs, to create your tissues, and then after those processes they begin to create more complex bodies and entities, and even yourself. Then it can become, more or less philosophical. Where does the self begin, and where does it end? We're not here to talk about or to go that deep, but at least you need to understand that communication starts within your cells, and then once the cells have created you, then you're communicating with other people and your environment. So are you autopoietic? This is a question that you can ask yourself, but it's a funny question that you can ask yourself. But for now, what you need to understand is that these processes are already starting within you, and then they act every time that they act in more complex ways. And we act in more complex ways as individuals and as a society. So we create societies, we create institutions, we create many things that are much bigger than us through cooperation, to the point that we reach the notion of hyperobjects. So philosopher Timothy Moulton explains that hyperobjects are those entities or phenomena that we can't, from our cognitive and perceptual capacities, understand as individuals. Let's take, for example, the internet, nuclear materials, or capitalism, like very, very complex phenomena that act through time and space in ways that we cannot understand, that we cannot perceive. So these are the hyperobjects, so massive entities that act and that we cannot see or we cannot understand from our individual position. We need to understand agency this way in order to see how the world operates and how the world communicates. So this allows us to understand another layer of communication that goes beyond understanding, well, this is how we speak English, this is how we speak Spanish. No, communication is more than that. Okay, so we have the concept of agency, and of course, if we think of ourselves as capable as agents, we need to see also the concept of emergence. So we have bottom-up emergence, which is basically when we talk about this type of emergence, we talk about the emergence that comes from different random interactions. Random interactions allow many types of possibilities, but then in order for those interactions to actually build something concrete and go up and officialize, it finds top-down constraints. So top-down constraints are basically fossilized, officialized, institutionalized formal practices, habits, and let's say official ways of seeing and acting and communicating of society, of the people, right? So bottom-up emergence and top-down constraints. So in the middle, what we find is the language practice, and also, I think this is very interesting, the language continuity and evolution, and of course the even the interactions of our species. What is interesting with this type of approach is that we can see not only the communication of us as a species, but also the communications of our communication as living entities and as living organisms. So within this space, language happens, communication happens, interaction happens. Now, this is a good way for us to understand how we navigate communication, and yes, if there's something else that we can add to this mini course, I wanted to talk about language being a self-sustained system, but should we add it to this course? I don't know. Perhaps I should make a quick comment on that. Again, I made it on a previous video about the work of Philip Barinholtz, where he explains that large language models showed that language is a self-sustained system. I think I will leave it for another video, because I was thinking there was a link with this fifth mini course, but I will leave it at that. For now, I would like to focus on the notion of autopoiesis, so this capacity or this phenomena that is observable in living systems that are capable of self-creation, self-preservation and self-regulation, autonomy and differentiation. Agency starting from ourselves and creating bioelectrical networks of communication between cells, capable of creating your tissues, your organs and everything that you are. And last but not least, hyperobjects, of course, these massive entities that we don't understand and that travel across time and space and that are basically everywhere, but we cannot understand, we cannot perceive them with our perceptual capacities. So understand also that we are living in the intersection of emergent bottom-up emergence of interactions and top-down constraints. So in the middle, that's where language happens, and that's where language evolves and continues. Okay, so that's those are, let's say, cognitive tools. Those are also interdisciplinary tools that will help us to understand how we can navigate the future of communication, especially in a space that will be shared with different cognitive entities or different cognitive and artificial tools with which we will work our information and different cognitive tasks. So I will leave it at that here, and I will be refining these concepts more for the masterclass, and you will see why there is a direct link with all the previous courses. So this one I'll leave it there. So thank you for watching this one, and see you next time for the masterclass and the pedagogical material that will be provided on my website. Remember, if you're interested in these ideas, go read my blog, my newsletter, or my channel that is linked somewhere in my channel description. So and of course I have my link tree and all my socials. So go watch that, please, and see you for the masterclass. Bye.